All right, you are live.
Hey guys, it's Rick Brown with the Brown Home Group here. We haven't started yet. We're gonna wait till the 9 o'clock hour as explained. But sitting next to me is the infamous
Hello everybody, good morning.
Nick Vargas with Home First Lending. And we'll wait a few seconds or minutes to have
Let
more
everyone
people
chime in.
jump in. And please feel free to ask questions. We'd love to get your questions on either real estate or lending. It's not stump the lender time, so try to keep your questions.
Yeah, nothing too crazy, nothing too crazy.
Exactly. So how you doing, Nick?
Good, doing good this morning.
Yeah.
Thank you, thanks for having me.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah,
For sure.
so we're excited to have you, and we're excited to do this. So we'll wait a few minutes. Hope everybody had a great weekend.
Yes.
You had a good weekend?
Oh yeah, TGIM. You know, thank God it's Monday.
Oh, okay. I honestly never heard that before, so
It's a business.
cool.
It's a business saying.
Right.
TGIM.
Awesome. So that tells me it's 9 o'clock.
All right, let's get it started.
Yeah, absolutely. So folks, thanks so much, boys and girls, ladies and gents. My name is Rick Brown. I am with the Brown Home Group, and this is Inside the Scoop with the Brown Home Group.
All right.
Yeah. So today we have Nick Vargas with Home First Lending.
Yes. Hello everybody.
And honestly, the reason that I wanted to start this program or start these episodes going forward is primarily because every week, if you're a team out there and you have a lender or a title or a home inspector and you invite them in, and obviously they bring us goodies because we love to eat as agents, I thought this was a way of giving back. This gives these vendors an opportunity, a platform to talk about their business. And maybe there's somebody out there that's watching that could use their services or might need real estate. It's not about me today. It's really all about the gentleman sitting next to me. So that being said, I'm really thrilled to have Nick Vargas with Home First Lending. And you can see his phone number is right up here, 407-697-5671, or you can email him at nvargas@myhomefirst, and that's one, the number one, st.com. Trust me, Nick, I've sent you wrong emails before.
Yes,
So I know. But today we're talking about the myths and the unknowns of first-time home buyers.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of myths going around, a lot of rumors.
Right.
So we're here to crack them.
So real estate is good right now, but
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But so far as the first-time home buying process, it can be a little scary.
Sure, it
Yeah.
can be stressful at times. Absolutely. There's a lot of unknown things that we're gonna go over today that make that a little easier, hopefully.
Absolutely. So let's say the number one myth that you always get maybe could be credit score, right?
Yeah,
Credit score's got to be at least 700.
That's a big
Or
one,
better, right?
Oh yeah. There's an ongoing myth out there, Rick, that you gotta have a 720 credit score to buy, or have an extremely high credit score to buy, and
720.
Yeah, 720. 720. I mean, most of us haven't had a 720 since we were born, huh?
Yeah.
That's a tough one. So that definitely is a myth. Okay, it's a rumor.
Right.
So minimum credit scores can go down to about 580, actually.
580.
580. Okay. Some institutions will even go as low as 500. Okay, with what we call compensating factors. Okay.
Wow, I'm learning something new today too.
Yeah.
500.
500. Not to go into too much detail about the compensating factors part. I don't want to bore everybody, but basically you show that you have some savings put away. That's considered a compensating factor. You have a verification of rent with no late payments.
Right.
That'd be considered a compensating factor. Or a larger down payment, also a compensating factor.
Okay, so compensating factor meaning
that you have something positive or some kind of skin in the game.
Okay.
Basically, to get the investor to be willing to qualify a loan at a lower credit score.
Okay.
Awesome. Sure. But 580 is pretty much the standard as a minimum for a first-time home buyer on what we would call an FHA mortgage.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. So one of the other myths that we always hear about is down payment. I gotta have 20%.
Yep.
Gotta have 20%. Do I need 20%?
You do, don't you?
I don't know. I don't have 20%. I don't know about y'all. But
Yeah, 20% is a stretch. But
so the first-time home buyer, do I need 20%?
You do not. That's
Okay.
the good news. You do not need 20% down.
So listen to that, guys. We don't need 20% on a first-time home buyer.
Do not need 20%. So for a first-time home buyer, the most common product is FHA. Okay, typically is a smaller down payment, has lower interest rates, and a little easier to qualify for, opposed to some other different products. Okay. On an FHA mortgage, 3.5% down is the minimum. Okay. 3.5%. There are some unique products out there, such as USDA and VA. Okay, VA is for veterans, and that'd be 0% down, literally nothing out of pocket for your down payment. Same with USDA, but there are some qualifications, of course.
And that's usually what, 3.5%?
3.5% on FHA, USDA 0 down. There's income limits, and the home has to be in a specific USDA area, which can be checked on the USDA map.
So what is the max for an FHA right now? What is the purchase price?
The max purchase, okay, so it basically goes off of loan amount. So your max loan amount on FHA is $314,800 and some change. So $827. So that's your max loan amount. So Rick, for example, if you wanted to purchase a home at $350,000, but you only qualified for an FHA mortgage, you'd have to put down the difference.
Got it.
Okay.
So with a VA and with an FHA, are there any programs out there right now that first-time home buyers, you hear it as a real estate agent, oh, I'm a first-time home buyer, can I get, what can I get for free, or what programs are there available to me?
Sure. So there are a few first-time homebuyer programs, such as county grants and such. Like we work a lot with the Orange County Down Payment Assistance product. There's also with that product, the client or consumer would have to go to a class with the county. Okay, typically about an 8-hour course. They'd have to get a certificate from them. Okay, and then there's also qualifications to it. So they're a little more strict when it comes to debt to income ratios, credit scores. Their minimum is 640.
Whoa.
Yep, 640 minimum for down payment assistance.
Okay.
With Orange County, and there is a requirement where you have to have lived in a Central Florida area for at least a year prior to using it.
Okay.
And they also are restricted income per household, based on family size.
So, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to chime in. Let us know. Nick's here. When it comes to lending, when it comes to financing, refinancing, anything, please shout it out.
Mortgage related.
Yeah, let us know, and maybe we can get Nick to answer it while we're on the show and talking about it. The other thing that I always hear with first-time home buyers, obviously, is the number of years on a job and how long somebody has to have that same job. What does that look like so far as with a first-time home buyer? So
the most common thing we hear from a first-time home buyer is they'll ask before qualifying, hey, I haven't been on my same job for 2 years, I can't buy yet, right? And that's false. You definitely can. So you do not need to be on the same job with the same employer for 2 years. What you do need, though, Rick, is a 2-year employment history, typically without any gaps. Any gaps really larger than 6 months is what kind of triggers a additional question by the bank. Okay? So if somebody does have a gap for 6 months, the rule with your first-time home buyer loan is if you're off 6 months, you got to be back on for 6 months. So that's the rule there. And then what they're going to want to see is prior to that gap, a 2-year history consecutively. Okay? So if somebody is relocating, they work for a job in another state, they come down to Florida and they get a offer letter stating they're getting a set salary and they have a start date, as long as that start date is within 60 days of the closing date, we can actually close the loan on the offer letter without even being on that job.
Oh, wow.
Just yet.
Okay. Awesome. So, as a first-time home buyer, can you walk us through the process so far as what is necessary in order to buy that first home that everybody wants to do? And as a real estate agent, we would love to assist you on that. We have a team of agents standing by waiting to talk to somebody. So, but obviously as a real estate agent, we're not anywhere near what we need to be without somebody like Nick sitting next to us when it comes to the lending process.
Sure.
Nick does an amazing job. He's one of our preferred lenders. We appreciate the support.
Absolutely.
But walk us through so far as, okay, obviously the first thing the client needs to do is find a great real estate agent. With the Brown Home Group, we can definitely help you with that.
For sure.
Then, what's the next step?
So once you found your agent, the next step really
found your agent.
Once you have your agent with the Brown Home Group, the next step would be definitely to get qualified. Okay.
Right.
Typically, and you can chime in on this, Rick. Typically, it's best to get qualified before going out and seeing homes, right?
Yeah, guys. If you're a first-time home buyer, we really can't even open up a door. Well, we can. But we're not going to be able, if this home is what you want and it's what you love, we need to put an offer in. We have to have that pre-approval from somebody like Nick Vargas, and it's going to take what, 24 hours, maybe short.
Depends on the scenario. Yeah, it could be same day. Right. It may take a day, depending on if somebody is self-employed, and we have to review more documentation to make sure it's accurate.
Right. What's the difference between a pre-approval and a pre-qualification?
Sure. So this is actually a pretty hot topic, so I'm glad you brought this up.
Okay.
So a pre-qualification is kind of known as, hey, we just input some information you passed on to me, and I generate an answer based on that. Okay. A pre-approval is doing a little more due diligence and going a little deeper and saying, okay, you've given me your information. Now I want to go ahead and request your documentation from you. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to calculate your income, not only based on what you told me, but based on what I see on your documentation, to have a more accurate application, because the answer we get generated on a pre-approval is only as good as the information inputted. Right? So it's important to have that documentation up front, but a pre-approval is definitely stronger, and I'm sure you can attest to this when submitting an offer.
Yeah, 100%. So obviously, what you're saying is a pre-qualification is stronger than a pre-approval.
Nope.
A pre-approval is
vice versa.
Sorry, so if you were confused, so am I. So a pre-approval. So when I'm out with a client and an agent, a buyer needs to get a pre-approval, which is stronger than a pre-qualification.
You got it.
Okay. And what would that look like so far as they come into your office? What do? They call?
Sure. Good question. So there's actually 3 different ways we can go about it. So they can come into our office. We still do sit down in-person appointments.
Where's your office, Nick?
Yep, you got it. So we have an office actually in downtown Orlando, right off of Lake Eola. That would be our main headquarters, you can say. We also have a location in Avalon Park, and we have a location in Lake Mary. So we're actually kind of widespread out throughout Central Florida.
Where are you in Avalon Park?
Over in behind Mulberries.
Oh, sweet. All right. So that's awesome. I knew that you were somewhere there. I just didn't know where. So
we've jumped offices in Avalon Park.
But what I will tell you guys is, as agents, we'll be in a property with you, the buyer, and we'll pick up the phone and we'll call, and Nick will 9 times out of 10 answer unless he's with his little ones. Changing diapers.
Or on the way to the hospital. Got one on the way any day now.
Oh, ouch. Okay, so congrats on that.
Yeah, thank you.
Is there anything that you're hearing out there regarding first-time home buyers that we want to talk about that could be really helpful to our audience?
Yeah,
if we have an audience. I'm not even sure if we have an audience.
We got
an audience.
Well, thank you guys for chiming in.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys being here. I don't know if you're just watching to see me mess up, but that's okay too. This is supposed to be fun.
It's natural.
Yeah.
Not rehearsed.
Yeah, not at all. I don't have a script. I'm really kind of flying by the seat of my pants here. But again, this wasn't why I was doing it. It's primarily because I really appreciate these vendors, and if agents out there watching, you too understand what we have to go through when it comes to working with our partners and making us look good. So this gentleman next to me does just that for my team, and I wanted to give you the opportunity, and we do appreciate the snacks that you bring us.
Absolutely.
But
so far as your heart.
Yeah, exactly. So far as a first-time home buyer, now FHA is, I don't want to stereotype, but FHA, would you consider is pretty much where a first-time home buyer will go? Why wouldn't they want to go conventional? Or what are obviously VA we know is for military. Yep. Which, by the way, if you're out there and you're in the military or you've served the United States, we appreciate that, or any country for that matter. Absolutely. Yeah, thank you for your service. But when it comes to an FHA or conventional, what would be easier to qualify for?
Great question. So
and I say that
FHA is definitely easier. It's more. they're more lenient on credit score qualification.
Okay.
So with an FHA mortgage, if you have a client who maybe has a 650 or a 660 credit score, okay, their interest rate on that type of loan is going to be significantly lower than compared to a conventional mortgage where they're a little more strict on credit score. Okay.
Okay.
So the other difference is, I'm sure this is a hot topic, is mortgage insurance, or PMI.
PMI.
People
right.
refer to it as.
What
Right?
does PMI stand for?
Private mortgage insurance.
Oh, it's private.
Private mortgage insurance.
So many people say it's property.
No.
Okay.
Private mortgage insurance.
Right there, we learned something.
Yep, private mortgage insurance. So basically, PMI is a fee you use to, or you pay to use the product, right? So when you have an FHA mortgage, there's PMI. When you have a conventional mortgage, there's PMI. The difference is on FHA, it's just a set percentage, no matter what your credit score is.
Right.
On conventional, it's based on your credit score and down payment. And that leads me to one more thing I want to discuss about
Sure.
PMI that's super important.
Hey, it's all about you.
You got it. When you're shopping for a mortgage, okay, people know to look for two things: interest rate and fees, right?
When you say fees, lender fees?
Lender fees, absolutely.
Okay.
Because when it comes to your title fees and county fees and state fees,
Can't get around that.
you got it. Those are going to be the same no matter who you use, right? Because the seller picks your title company typically.
Right.
So when it comes to PMI, it's actually shoppable. A lot of consumers don't know this, but PMI could be different from lender A to lender B when you're talking about a conventional mortgage, okay? So a lender right next door might have a different PMI than this other lender. Because
So how is it calculated then? Okay.
Great question. So it's based on credit score,
Okay.
based on down payment,
Okay.
but some lenders actually have a agreements or a discounted rate through these mortgage insurance providers. Okay, so there's actually a couple providers who do the mortgage insurance, and it's actually shoppable.
So how would that work with Home First Lending? How would
Sure.
that, so far as, are you a broker? Are you a private lender? What's the difference between
Sure.
you and, God forbid, somebody else out there that
Sure.
operates in a bank?
You got it. So
I mean, not saying that banks are bad. Don't get me wrong. I don't want anybody jumping off if you're from a bank.
yeah,
But there are banks that have that persona that
Sure.
is one way or
Fit in the
highway,
box.
right? Fit the box.
You
right?
got it. Absolutely.
And then there are portfolio lenders.
sure.
So what's the difference?
So Home First Lending is kind of like a hybrid model. So we actually can broker to about 54 different lenders. Okay, we can also lend our own money. So we go correspondent, which is what we call lending on our own credit line. Okay, so we do both broker and lend our own funds. So the benefit to that is that we have many different channels in which we can shop for a client, see what best suits them. Is it going through our own channel? Is it going through another institution that we finance through? So we get to choose that when going over rates and pre-qualifying them.
Okay. That's what I want to know is what differentiates you
Sure.
versus a bank versus another lender.
You got it. So we're not a bank, so to say. We're
Okay.
a broker. Okay.
So what is the bank? What does the bank do that you don't do, and what does the bank do that you do?
So everything the
Or
bank
bank
does,
doesn't do.
we do and more, essentially.
Okay.
So as a broker, we have 54 lending institutions that we can actually run quotes through or send a loan through that channel. Okay.
Okay.
We also operate in a hybrid model. So if there's not a good channel for them, what they're looking for, we can lend off of our own line of credit as well.
Oh wow.
Okay, so we can lend our own funds essentially.
Is that what you meant when you said about PMI and being able to look at different PMI?
You got it. So each lender is going to have a different PMI factor. The reason I bring PMI up is it can actually impact your payment a lot more than your interest rate can. So most consumers just look at the rate and think, okay, I'm getting the best deal out there. When in reality, if that rate is 0.25% higher here with another lender, but their PMI is substantially less, they'll be saving much more money, right?
Gotcha.
So with PMI, Home First Lending is actually rated #1 in Orlando, okay, on Zillow. We have over 1,000 reviews now, 5-star lender. And the reason I say that is because the amount of families that we're able to help, we've actually were able to get a exclusive agreement with these mortgage insurance companies through one of our investors to have the lowest mortgage insurance on the market pretty much at all times.
Wow.
Okay.
That's impressive.
So it makes a huge difference in payment. Okay.
Absolutely.
Definitely very important. Okay. And one of the big things about Home First Lending is, our core values are to give exceptional communication. We want to make sure everybody's in the loop at all times. We use very unique and softwares basically to keep people in the loop or kind of going through the process. It's kind of similar to like a Domino's tracker, for example. So you kind of can check in and know where your file is at all times.
Tracker.
Yep, Domino's tracker.
So we can see it being cooked.
You can see it being cooked through. You got it.
The loan.
You got it. All the way to delivery.
Okay.
Okay. So we use things like that to kind of help consumers get, go through the process a little more stress free because they know what's going on at all times.
Blaine, we getting some more people?
We had someone, but
okay. So anyway, tell us about your team. Tell us about Home First Lending, your office. I've had the pleasure and opportunity to meet with Zach and those guys over there. So what's that look like?
So our office has been in business for about 15 years now.
Okay.
So through the crash and everything, we sustained it. We've kept growing from there. We have an awesome team, lots of experienced folks. Like you said, you met Zach Blesnick, one of our partners. I mean, he's a great resource of information.
Is this privately owned?
It is. It is privately owned. So it is a mom and pop shop.
The owner.
So Teresa and Pablo Lopez, they're located right in downtown Orlando, where I sit. They're directly in front of me.
Homegrown, right here.
Homegrown.
That's huge because as a real estate agent and agents out there that if you are watching, we always hear of a lot of different banks. I'm not going to say any names, but you go under contract and then you've got to deal with an 888 number and they're sitting in Topeka, Kansas, right? And they're in the West Coast and they're closing out at 5 o'clock. I know for a fact Nick's cell phone's on him 24/7, and being that who he is, he takes a lot of pride in what he does. So I know that I can pick up the phone, and if the deal is going south, which if we're out there as agents, you know what that looks like. As a first-time home buyer, you want somebody who's going to be right there in your corner. Your real estate agent should do that. We do that at the Brown Home Group. Nick, who we align ourselves with, also does it on the lending side. They go kind of in tandem. Wouldn't you agree, Nick?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if your real estate agent isn't doing their part, then it's going to be very difficult for the lender to do theirs, and vice versa. So with some of these outside sources that are out there online, and I'm not saying you can't get great interest rates, you can, but unfortunately you don't get a person that you can reach out to, that you can touch, that if you do start to see the signs of issues occurring, and they will occur, and for a first-time home buyer, you guys out there especially, it's difficult when you really don't understand the process of, oh my gosh, what's happening with my loan? What do I need to do? And if that's the case, we got somebody here local, in-house, that can really, I mean, if you need to come into the office, right, downtown, bring your paperwork. I mean, the first thing that usually goes south is something that you maybe didn't even know about that shows up in the credit report or after it goes to underwriters.
You got it. Yeah, there will be checks done. Not necessarily a background check on your life, but there will be checks done to see if your name pops up on a property that maybe your parents had 30 on when you were a child, in case anything were to happen, or things like that. So it's important to really go through that information, and what makes a good loan officer is somebody who asks the right question and a lot of questions.
Yeah. So that's the one thing that obviously with being a real estate agent, we want to align ourselves with good quality local vendors, like Nick Vargas at Home First Lending. So I don't know if we've got any questions. If we don't, you can watch this again at youtube.com/Brown Home Group. Obviously, this Facebook Live cut out, so I'm not sure who we lost, but Nick, I appreciate you coming.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'm not sure how well this was received, but guys, we're going to be doing this every week. We may take a week or two off, just depending on the vendors. Next week, we're going to have a title company. Title company is going to come in on the sale process. So obviously you have Nick who does the buy side. We really have to align ourselves with title companies that also do the same. If they want to reach out to you for any loan, lender, refinancing, which a lot of people are doing, obviously if you want to list your home, we definitely can assist you with that and give you a free home evaluation.
Sure.
You can go to realhomevalueinorlando.com to get a free home evaluation. Please do. But if they want to reach you,
Sure.
how do they get you?
This right here is my cell phone number. So like you were saying earlier, there's no 888 number. You don't have to wait for some hold music that bores you to death. You contact me right here. You can text me, call me, email me. I am in my email nonstop.
Okay.
I
Work
constantly
weekends.
check my phone. Whatever you guys need me, we are available.
Right. And then, do you have an app or something for them to want to fill out?
Absolutely. So it'll be myhomefirst.com. Again, 1ST, not spelled out.
Yeah.
/ Nick. And yep.
Okay, awesome. Hey, so guys, thanks so much for watching. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate y'all.
This is Rick Brown signing off inside the scoop with the Brown Home Group.
Yes.
Make it a great day,
guys. Take care.